Good afternoon and welcome to AAA's latest Facebook Live. My name's David Bennett. Today we're in Deltona, Florida at H1 or Honest One Auto Care, and Dennis has joined me. So Dennis, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Glad to have you here.
So today we're going to talk about how to properly communicate with your repair facility. Also, things that you should look for in a good repair facility, besides, of course, the AAA and approved auto repair logo. But so Dennis, you know, as customers are coming into your repair facility, what are some things that you want them to communicate with you?
Well, first of all, I think the customer should realize that having a mechanic is it's a practice, like your doctor, your lawyer, that full disclosure, as much information you can give is a two-way street. Sometimes people will withhold information or leave things out thinking it will cost them less, when in essence it may cost them more money and more time to get resolution to the problem.
Right. And conversely, you know, by as you said, sharing that information, it could save you time in diagnosing the issue, and then be able to save that customer some more money, right?
Exactly.
And so, you know, when they come in and they're describing a problem to you, what are some of the terminologies you want them to use versus what you don't want them to use?
Really, the most important thing is, what do you hear? What do you feel? Just pure facts.
Okay.
Don't make assumptions. And I'll use this analogy more than a time. It's like going to your doctor.
Right.
Don't tell your doctor what I think you need to do. Give us the symptoms.
Okay.
The more information you can give us, and the more succinct is what type of sound, when does it make it, how does it occur, the frequency, things like that, really help the professional technician get to a quicker solution.
So as an example, you want to know, hey, I hear this clicking noise and it happens when I'm turning right, but it doesn't happen when I'm going straight.
Exactly. Does it happen in the morning? Does it only happen after 4 o'clock when the sun's going down on the highway or anything like that?
Yeah, so as much information as you said that you could give your doctor, you need to give the service advisor so they can help diagnose and give that information to the technician.
Absolutely,
right?
And especially first time going to a shop, you want to be able to tell them previous history, what you've had done on the car, who's worked on it, have you worked on it on yourself?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. So you do want to know, hey, has this problem existed? Has somebody else tried to fix it? If so, what did they do? So bring your repair orders, bring your information, and share that with you, because it's just going to help everybody in the long run.
It certainly does.
And I think about that is so as you're looking at things, and I think you and I were talking before this, is in a lot of cases a repair facility wants to really maintain the vehicle more so than repair it. Right?
Very much so.
It's easier.
Number one, yes. I've always used the old Fram commercial. It's been around 30 years. Pay me now or pay me later. So, you know, maintaining your fluids and filters and keeping on a regular maintenance basis is much better than having to call 1-800-AAA to get the car brought in. We see that a lot too, that people don't maintain, not so much AAA members, but people don't maintain their car, and it's just fix it and patch it after it's left them stranded on the side of the road more than once.
Right. Again, thank you for joining us at Facebook Live. My name's David Bennett. With me is Dennis from Honest One Auto Care here in Deltona, Florida. So, you know, we talked about establishing that rapport with the repair facility and trying to, you know, what's a good way to do that? Is it coming in when it's an immediate repair, or is it better to come in for something that's like a routine maintenance item?
Exactly, whether it be an oil change or even getting tires checked or something simple like that. When you walk into a shop, first of all, you're going to look around. How are the people treated? How are they dressed? What is the condition of the lobby? What is the condition of the shop? You wouldn't just go in and see old cars laying around, or see the same shop that has the same cars, day after day after week. You want a place that's going to fix cars quickly. Ask people, ask friends, ask neighbors. Biggest thing now is social media. I mean, between Google and Yelp, that is the word of mouth for our industry, and it really has become a trend in the last few years.
Yeah, no, and another way to look for good quality repair facilities is visit AAA.com/auto repair. Well, there's a list of 7,000 AAA inspected and approved repair facilities within North America.
And that's the cream of the crop right there. A lot of people think, well, there's this association or what. When AAA comes in, you come in and inspect. You want to know what our guys' qualifications are. We agree to all your rules and regulations for an unhappy customer. And a good shop's regulations or warranties are far exceeding what you're asking anyway. So it was pretty easy for us, but I was still impressed with the inspection process when we became a AAA shop.
Yeah, we're happy to approve you, and we're thankful that you're a part of the program. So, let's talk about a couple different scenarios about as a way to communicate. So, what about if they come in and talking about left side, right side versus passenger side versus driver side?
Oh, Good service advisor is going to clarify that, but it's always passenger side, driver side. Left or right matters is which way you're looking at the vehicle,
Right.
for sure. And always, if you have any questions, ask right then and there.
Right. So, and I think that's a good thing to think about. And I think another good thing to always think about is when you're looking to maintain the vehicles, to follow your owner's manual.
Yes, very much so. We here have the computer resources that we can pull up manufacturer's recommendations on any car that'll match exactly.
Okay. So, we do have a question that came in, and how do you know if a recommended service is necessary, similar to like a cabin air filter?
That's a good one. Some manufacturers are very good with their maintenance records.
Right.
Cabin air filters are pretty good. And usually it's 30,000 is a replace. Sometimes as early as 10 or 15,000. But all your filters and fluids really depend on your driving conditions. Here in Florida, if you look up severe service, it's heat and stop and go.
Right.
Where's there more heat and stop and go than I-4 going through Orlando?
Yeah,
so
good point.
People sometimes go with regular rather than severe. So whenever looking in this climate here, we go with severe.
Right.
The other good thing is that you can look, it'll even have inspection. Certain manufacturers don't recommend things. They've gotten away from that because of cost of ownership,
Right.
but they're also circling back around. It used to be back in the day, you'd tune up your car every 12,000 miles or once a year. Then it went to 100,000 miles, something I've recently discovered with a lot of four-cylinder turbo cars. Even manufacturers like Lexus and Acura are now recommending spark plugs again at 30,000 miles because of the heat of a turbo engine.
Yeah, so again, that goes back to understanding your owner's manual. And let's face it, you can look that up online. You may have a CD, a DVD, it could be in your glove box.
Now, that's true. There are no
you
more
can download it to your
manuals.
phone. Yeah, exactly.
The PDF to your phone.
Right.
And a good shop, ask them for the records, and it should match exactly what you have.
Yeah, so I think that's another good point is don't be afraid to ask the service advisor, why are you suggesting this? Can you show me in the owner's manual why the recommended service is?
Should be full disclosure on that. We do digital inspection here, so even if a customer's not here, the technician is working on the car with an iPad, we send pictures and videos to the customer's phone. You always want to see, if someone doesn't want to share something with you, what are they trying to hide?
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good point. So, and I think that is a very crucial point there and I think we mentioned talking about coming in for a maintenance, like an oil change or something like that to become familiar with the shop. I like the idea of coming in just, hey, let me get it inspected. Let me, charge me, an hour's labor or whatever it is. Let me go through the vehicle and let me show you what I think that needs to be maintained on it. But in doing that, is it helpful for you to understand from the customer how long they want to keep the vehicle?
Oh, very much so. That's always a question I ask a new customer.
Right.
What are your plans for the vehicle? Are we patching it to getting through to the first year we're going to buy a new car? Or you've realized that buying a new car every 3 years is pretty cost ineffective.
Right. Do
you want to keep this to 100 or 2 or 300,000 miles? Something you just touched on, I will add, that inspection at any AAA approved shop, you can get an inspection at no charge whatsoever.
Yeah, it's a 24-point inspection based on a paid ticket. So. But I think, so another thing to think about is you're going in for those visual inspections. Don't come in the day before you're leaving for a trip.
That's usually the way.
It is usually the way, but plan ahead. Think about it a week or two beforehand, because if there is a problem and you need to order a part, you want to give that some time.
You certainly do. And I will tell you, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, our holiday coming up, we will get calls at 3 and 4 o'clock before we close. I just need to have my fluid checked. I just need to get this checked before I go to New York or Pennsylvania. Definitely plan ahead. Those are the people, when you travel for holidays and see the cars littered on the side of the roads, the ones that didn't plan ahead for sure.
Yeah, and why I think about that, when you're on the side of the road, I'm going to move over to a different subject. If you see anybody on the side of the road, emergency vehicles or whatever, please slow down and move over. Give them room. Please give them room, because that's very important, and you're taking their lives into your own hands.
And it's the law now in Florida also.
It is the law.
Should be law in all 50 states.
And it's getting that way, but AAA is a big proponent of that, so I want to make sure that everybody continues to keep that in mind. So again, David Bennett here with AAA, and Dennis from Honest One Auto Care in Deltona, Florida, talking about different ways to ensure that you're communicating properly with your repair facility, and also things that you can look for in a good quality facility. Any other thoughts that you can think of that you want to share with everybody?
Absolutely. First thing you're going to look, especially in this state of Florida, is to make sure the shop is certified. Every repair shop in the state of Florida is supposed to be certified and registered with the state. Okay. That gives you the protection for places that don't have association with AAA of some fallback. If you have an issue with your car, And it's almost like a lemon law for repair. You have recourse through the state of Florida that you're not just stuck, that you're going to do whatever they're told you to do. Unfortunately, our business, like every other business, has a few scrupulous people in there, and to a good, honest shop, nothing irritates us more. It could be our mother, our sister, or grandmother. Right. We hear a total stranger being taken advantage, it tarnishes our industry as a whole.
Yeah, so I think also as you're communicating, those are great points, but when you're communicating with the shop, look for that business certificate. Look for any kind of certifications that the
ASE
technician
certifications has on your technicians.
Yeah, or OEM certifications, either one that you have. I think those are very important. I think you also need to understand, what is the labor rate of the shop? Understand how they charge. Is it by service? Is there an hourly fee? Understand what those are, along with what is the warranty that they're going to offer. And the warranty may differ, correct me if I'm wrong, depending, are you putting on different types of parts and things like that. So we have another question. It says, what's the best way to describe noises my car is making? And let's face it, a shudder feel or a hesitation could be different. A squeak or a squeal is a little bit different. What are you looking for from your customers?
That's a really difficult one because everyone interprets it way.
Right.
You try to be as most objective as far as the noises as you can. A good shop, the first thing they're going to say is, let's go take a look at it. I'm not going to write you up and get all your information. Let's go out and look at the car. Let's go for a quick ride together. See if you can show me.
Right.
The problem people don't realize is we work in our industry on thousands of different cars by every make and model. A good in tune person knows their car better than anyone else. Yeah. And I'll say, well, let's go for a ride. You show me. You drive. Right. You describe. I'll listen and go that way too.
And that's a great point. I think don't hesitate to ask to take the service advisor for a road test so they can hear what you're hearing and experiencing during that drive.
Yeah, the first-hand experience is always the best. Can you recreate it?
Correct. Yeah, and let's face it, as everybody knows, it never happens when you're at the repair facility, right?
Those are what they call the white coat syndrome.
Yeah,
that happens all the time. But that's probably the biggest task for our industry. Yep. We can invest money in training and equipment and all that, but an intermittent drivability problem is the hardest thing for us to find sometimes.
Yeah.
The time it does it once a day or once a week. Let's keep trying.
Yeah.
I'll actually tell customers, if it's not doing it now and it's acting up, come right here. Don't shut the car off. Just come in and grab me by the collar and bring me out. Let's take a look at it.
So yeah, that's great. And that's great for you guys to do that. And I think that is a key point there. So again, any final thoughts that you want to share with the groups that you can think of? I mean, you shared a lot of good points. Anything else? Any final thing that you want to leave our
The open communication is probably the biggest thing most of all. Most people will call a shop and ask how much. And a good shop is going to say, what is the experience? What is your concern with the vehicle? What's going on? Unfortunately, Amazon has taken over our world and we've become a one-price society. Anyone that's going to go to a shop based purely on who gave them the lowest price over the phone is probably in for a pretty bad experience. That only works when buying lamps and so forth and having delivered to the house. What you really want to ask are the things we talked about today. What are the certification? What's your warranty? What other recourse do I have? And most of them will invite you in to take a quick look or to talk to them for free of charge.
Yeah, and I think it is very difficult to quote a tool or quote a repair on a repair job or the price of a repair just because there are so many unknown factors. And there are some tools out there. So like AAA has a repair cost estimator tool at AAA.com/auto repair that will give you a basic idea of what it could cost. It's going to give you a ballpark, but it's not going to give you an exact cost. And it just kind of helps you understand that.
Exactly,
so,
to know what exactly you need to know. You wouldn't call your doctor and say, how much to take out my gallbladder? Right. His first question would be, well, why do you think it's your gallbladder?
Right.
We're on the same thing. Yeah. And then we'll triage, we'll do testing, and then we'll find the best course of action, not only to fix your car right the first time and economically, but to keep you as a customer for the long term.
Right. Yeah. So with that, thank you very much for joining us, Dennis. I appreciate everything today and hosting us. Thank you for joining us. And if you have any questions at any time, feel free to reach out and leave those comments in our Facebook page. Thank you.